I think it's way too defensive, but it's a good Wyvern game,
Dire
man. On
team
Mm.
Polaris' side, it is like against a TA, against a Mars. Like they both like to buy BKBs really early. Wyvern's great against that. They're very physically damage oriented. Wyvern's great against that. Mars Arena, you just press Q and you're safe. It just, I don't know. It feels really good. But again,
10
Pugna
seconds
Wyvern,
remaining.
pretty weak support combinations. So we'll see what avenue Polaris
5
decide to go
seconds
down.
remaining.
Is Grim still there?
He is.
Yes. All for a Grim. All for a Grim stroke. I mean, I feel like the hero does a lot, and it really enables your DK jump, which we kind of see at the moment. It's like Grim Snap, really nice to be able to help out with someone initiating. Hoodwinks there
Radiant
as well.
team pick.
Mirana, which I was going to get to before it was picked. But it's okay. I will not give myself the point. That's all right. Polaris picking up the Mirana. They are
C draft.
very. Say that again.
Radiant team pick.
C draft is what
Yes.
this is.
But it's answered. And this is now a very good Abaddon pick because now it really enables the TA to be put in the safe lane. So I'd like for them, and I imagine they will. I need a magic
10
AoE
seconds
damage
remaining.
dealer that you can pump damage inside the chrono.
5
Sorry,
seconds
inside the arena.
remaining.
Faceless Void. No, I mean, you don't Lena yet. I feel like you can Lena in the last phase. Lena TA is very good combination. If I'm them, I just pick up my position 4 right now. You know, something that's going to disrupt the Pugna perhaps. They have no jump. Give me a Clockwork. Give me a...
Oh, sir, no. You're going. I don't like the route you're going down. They need magic. They need damage. Like Abaddon's not Mars. Abaddon's not going to do any damage in arena. Mars needs a hero to be able to combine with. I think you need a stun and magic damage on your 4, right? And if you go 2 supports without damage, isn't there an issue?
No, not necessarily. I feel like it's just a different type of damage, right?
Radiant
Like
team
a
best.
Mars plus a TA is super capable of picking off anyone, and I think your position four's role can just be to remove the rest of the team from the equation,
Okay.
which is what I was kind of thinking with an Earth Spirit or a Clockwork. But
Okay.
instead, they go the Rubik, pretty decent response against
10 seconds
Mirana. I mean,
remaining.
Arrow is very, very good thing to steal. Stone Gaze, great thing to
5
steal.
seconds remaining.
Elder Dragon, not even Elder Dragon, sorry, the Dragon Tail, very good. Even if you're able to steal Breathe Fire, it does provide a lot of that damage reduction that you're going to be needing. In terms of the Medusa, though, you have no mana burn heroes right now. Pangoli is banned out. You're probably not going to pick an anti-mage unless it's some weird mid or offlane anti-mage. So, yeah, like this Dusa, I would be really surprised if they don't ban Alina now.
It's also a strategy that Polaris have ran into the ground kind of through the spring tour for DPC 202. We saw them really get off to a hot start thanks to a lineup that put a lot of emphasis on stacking. Of course, this was kind of enabled from like a Coddle Shadow Demon support pairing or just support heroes in general that could stack really easy. Rana can kind of do the same. So I definitely think Polaris, they're going to be looking at stacks to try and enable the Medusa and get Natsumi online as early as possible. Slark, man. Very interesting.
They banned Alina on Execration. I'm kind of surprised about that. I guess this must mean that it's going to be a TA mid.
10 seconds
Like I know the
remaining.
Abaddon enables it, and I know Bob loves the hero, but I was really
5
thinking they were
seconds
going to be a little
remaining.
bit less transparent about how they wanted to play this game.
Ooh, I want to see what this
What
band
do you
looks
do
like.
now? Like
Dire team
I think they're just banning all the
Radiant
mana
team
burners,
pick.
right? Ursa, Slark, mana burners. I mean, they wouldn't do an aggressive AM, would they?
You could. I'm also considering a Drow route. I think Drow, Abaddon, plus Mars, TA can get aggressive. Very good matchup versus the Dusa. You don't go down. It's not that mana burn route, but it's one of the better matchups to deal with Dusa. Could even see like a... They ain't gonna get a sniper or
5
something like
seconds
that. It is
remaining.
Execration. They don't
Dire
hate
team
the hero.
Well, I wouldn't hate it either, but they don't have like Storms in the pool, for example, and Pugna's playing in the game. So I would feel very worried if they were going to go down that route. Looks like it is going to be a TA in the safe lane, though, DP mid.
10 seconds remaining.
What do you do against this? Do you sniper? No, you're up
5
against a Mars. You
seconds
probably can't do
remaining.
that. I mean, do you still Storm? I feel like you could still Storm and just make space for your Medusa, look to farm kills off of like Rubik, for example. Dodge
Yeah.
a lot of the ganks if you can. The lockdown isn't great as long as the Rubik's dead, right? Everything isn't instant.
Great pairing with the Pugna gives you another way to start fights. You're very reliant on the Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight into Marana arrows instantly going to be answered by a shield or telekinesis. So I do think you need another way to initiate on Polaris.
What
DP's
else
on.
could they do? Could they conquer?
In, I was thinking that originally, but is the DP lane is a bit rough. But I suppose Conquer, like
It is.
you're gonna get something out of it. You go farm the jungle, and I think maybe for the just what he provides the team overall might be enough for having him have like a kind of rougher lane. I think you need a playmaker. You need some. I would like a way to help start fights and someone to keep the tempo because it can't be too farm orientated.
You may now select your
Okay,
heroes.
into a TA, it's pretty good. So mid DK into the Death Prophet. Not the greatest, but you're going to get your farm. Sand King into the TA, you love that. It gives them another way to get in onto the backlines. Got to be careful about Shanks, though. I'm still a little
Yes.
bit worried that they don't have ways to be able to find this Rubik at the very beginning. Sure, you're going to get Blink Daggers on both your DK and your Sand King, and you can afford to because you've got a Medusa that's going to be carrying the game for you eventually. But I feel like if Shanks is just on point with his positioning, and hopefully he got some of that rust out in game number one, then you're always going to be able to get the steal off for the Burrow Strike, for example. And that can really turn a lot of these engagements around.
Yeah, that was the one point I was going to mention. That I think the Sand King could be good for the game
10
overall.
seconds
Just at least
remaining.
having another way to start fights is another really good pairing with the Marana.
5 seconds.
Gives you some team fight, but it's a very good Rubik game and the abilities you can steal. So like you said, if Burrow Strike is ever a possibility to steal, then Shank's going to be a lick in his lips. But how are we feeling about this second game? Do we feel like Execration have what it takes to tie up this best of 5 1-1, or are Polaris going to jump out to a big lead?
I'm going to say Polaris. I don't think they've addressed this Medusa enough. I feel like they were very good with their bans. I feel like they've got multiple avenues to initiate. The burst damage is there. And they've even got the damage reduction as well, with both the Pugna and the DK already picked up for your lineup. So I think Vincenzo is going to need to literally be in the perfect place at the perfect time for every single Polaris movement. And he's a good player, but I think that's just too much for anyone to expect.
I'm hesitant. I'm gonna go Execration though. I think I think this game is very much going to be played off the back of the Death Prophet and the Abaddon. I think this game is very difficult for them to kill DP. Is if Vincenzo's positioning is on point. Bob's going to have a very good lane matchup, and we can see how much damage his Death Prophet can really do, combined with the Templar Assassin early with their timings, like first Roche, take some objectives, you got a defensive support, which really enables a DP. Like we saw what Lelouch could do last game, and they didn't really have a defensive support, and now you've got an Abaddon to help out as well. I think it's a very good Abaddon game too, because of the ways you're answering kind of the stun into arrow.
Prepare for battle.
So I think Execration with their team fight, first Roche potential, and I really feel like this DP is going to be an issue if Vincenzo is positioning is on point.
Yeah, I mean, the lanes are all pretty good for honestly, for both teams, they're all right. Like the Mars Rubik is a strong lane. The DP into the
Ralph.
DK is a good lane. So Ralph. And I would be feeling even confident about the TA ban. It's just that it's into a Sand King, right? And Nevermind's always going to make that a little bit more challenging. Marana, one of the better heroes, though, at being able to build up those stacks. So I feel like a lot of things do need to go right for Polaris, but I think they've got the tools to be able to do it, right? Like you can stack for this Sand King, you can get that 10 to 12 minute Blink Dagger.
30 seconds. to
DK
battle.
shouldn't be dying in the mid lane. You might even be able to make a rotation through and get a lucky stun off onto the DP and get a kill as a result of the Marana's movement after building up a stack or two. So I think the tools are there. It's just coming down to the execution. And again, I feel like Polaris are warmer than Execration are.
All right, well, they're going to know Award
The
was
battle begins.
recently placed mid. I mean, Bob was standing in that tower range for quite some time and wasn't getting right click, so they should have...
Xavius might die? Oof. Just forcing him away with the meld there. Had put the point into the Sacred Arrow nice and early. Obviously, you almost always want to have that, but without the leap, he had no way of getting away.
Thoughts on the Wraith Band first as well for the Mirana?
I think it just depends on what you're laning up into, and Abaddon isn't really a hero that... I mean, you obviously can trade, but it's not really one that you want to be trading into. So if you're just able to slowly plink away, get more of those right clicks down, you're going to be pretty happy with things. Is Vincenzo going to be able to put this sentry ward in the right spot? If he puts it on the bottom right-hand side of this camp, it'll catch the observer ward there. But it doesn't look like he's in a position to do it yet. He just wants to move on forward and block up the camp with his own body. Let's see where he places it. Because that could honestly decide this lane, having that little bit of extra experience there.
I don't know if... Actually, no, I think Sand King was. I was going to say, he might have been out of range for that range creep that Xavius just killed off with the arrow. Okay. I wasn't looking at his hero at the time.
He moved forward and copped a couple of extra right clicks just to make sure that he got the experience solo.
So yeah, still yet to see this sentry place at the moment. Like you said, it's really going to help out, especially Palace as well, into the tricky matchup. Vincenzo's just going to try and chase down the Mirana, kind of push her out of being a factor in this lane, but the Wraith Band should enable her to be able to kind of trade. As we look at some of the other lanes, Bob on
Vegas is getting dived here. Ooh. What the hell? That should not happen. Like, he just stood there and tanked a right-click barrage coming from Vincenzo here.
Sounds like hey to talk to me. I don't know. I was spilling all Vincenzo love. Don't
it should
get
not
started.
Happen.
Oh, it's okay. It's looking good to be an Execration fan.
He copped 10 hits to the face, man. And then he popped the salve right before he dies. Oh, and he still doesn't get use out of it.
Vincenzo's like, never mind, I'll charge you next. Well, they're going to get rid of the Aphotic Shield, but Palace has killed off the creep, so he's able to step on over and get one swipe off. Right, let's look at some of the other lanes real quick. Top lane, Tino, 10-0 compared to the 12-1. This is probably an... Oh, I can't imagine there's going to be too much action in this lane. Maybe, like, if Pugner's caught out of position. Oh, even then, I don't know if they have the damage to kill the Pugner. This hero is quite difficult to kill off.
For sure. Even in this bottom lane, sorry to pile in upon the Xavius hate train, but he ended up putting his only sentry ward inside of the camp that he was trying to deward just to make sure he had full coverage. But Vincenzo hadn't even placed down his sentry ward at the time. He just body blocked it previously. So he's just wasted a sentry ward, and Vincenzo still has that capability. I mean, he just got the body block off there again.
Still holding the sentry as well for the Abaddon. So hasn't popped down in the lane just to be a bit of a nuisance to the Sand King. How's mid looking? Lelouch is having a very good time. Looks like, well, back to bottom we go. TP out from the Sand King is going to be right. Yeah, it looks like just the damage advantage that Lelouch has with this Bracer, double gauntlets is really proving to be an issue for Bob.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that that's how it's going down. I mean, I really thought that he would have had the edge, of course, being able to out-sustain, perhaps playing a little bit more aggressively, knowing that you have that extra tool at your disposal. I mean, he's still got a Tango on Bob. Maybe just, again, not playing aggressive enough, not feeling the tempo of Dota quite yet.
I've been, I guess, doubting for quite some time this DK hero in regards to a lot of matchups. Like, Pro Series actually made me realize how strong hell that thought. He's got Fair Fire, will be okay. Although they got 2 points Breathe Fire, Bob. Got Vincenzo stepping in. He's going to want the high five as well while he runs away. Xavius will give him one. Love it. Friendship.
I really thought he'd go for the body block there on Lelouch to prevent the escape coming through, but didn't end up landing it. A couple of salves coming through from the teammates. That was the play that I was really expecting to see that could have maybe turned things around as Vincenzo. He's doing a great job so far. I said that he needed to pop off if Execration was going to stand any chance, and he's been doing really well. No stacks built up. First blood. constant rotations, keeping mid healthy. He's doing everything you could possibly ask of him.
It's unfortunate that he can't really stop the lane up top as Team V's. Couple of stacks already being created. Looks like a triple at the medium, double, make it a triple at the hard as well. So Pugna's doing a very good job to be able to enable carry, and Natsumi's having a good lane as well. They're not going to shut down the Mars, but simultaneously Execration not going to shut down Natsumi.
His family will understand.
I see
He's got to be careful here. A few seconds left until he's got the Sandstorm available again. Can use the stick. Might still end up going down if he's in the wrong place. Oh, he rolled high. Oh, Palos just able to get that solo kill onto Nevermind. That's a huge kill. I mean, brings him up to level 6.5 already at this stage of the game. A full level ahead of the SK.
Mid lane though, there's a level advantage onto Lelouch, so level 6 already. Bob's going to need a reinforcement coming through for the Abaddon. They'll even bring Shanks as well. Lelouch is going to be cautious. Might be a difficult person to kill off, but with this Spirit Siphon, if they can help going through the tanky Dragonite. Try and secure with a power rune. It will be an Invis top. Very nicely done from Shanks.
Okay.
Wanted that last little bottle sip,
Alright.
but let's see if they charge up the Exo. Bob's going to do so, but yeah, he's not going to get a kill out of it. Nice read from Lelouch. Going to TP back to the T2 tower, so he's not even too far away from the action.
Gives him the salve as well, straight on back into the lane. Shouldn't need to move on forward into the spirits. Yep, salve keeps on ticking. Seen a lot of support movement for this mid lane from heroes that you wouldn't normally come to expect it from. The Abaddon, the Pugna, both moving their ways back.
You got to, though. This is... Both position 2s have lineups that rely heavily on taking towers early. The Dragonite with the Elder Dragon form, Death Prophet with the Exo. Always a big fan of speaking about, you know, if a side has very good supports to rotate, you know, converge on the tower, collapse and wrap around and get a kill into the objective. So I do like the emphasis that we are seeing so far. They're taking a stack, actually. This is pretty big from Execration. Lelouch going to step in. 4 heroes are showing up, but the arrow's on point onto the Mars. They'll push away Lelouch, and the damage is lacking for Polaris. So Tino is able to step out of harm's way after they take a decent amount of the stack.
Palace is just continuing to free farm down here. Hasn't missed too many CS at all. Just farm, that's all he needs to do. And his team doing a pretty good job of making space for him so far.
Is this the infamous 1 or no level Starstorm? Is this what we're going to get from Xavier's?
I mean, their lineup is really based around the lockdown, right? I know you're against an Abaddon, but it really is even just the damage component of locking someone in place, allowing them to hit the Sacred Arrow.
Okay, I'm just watching Nevermind almost get killed off as he's trying to epi down the stack. He's going to be chilling though. Meanwhile, top lane, that was Arena used for the kill onto the Pugna. You're more than happy with using Arena at this stage of the game, just to try and help buff up your net worth, where Tino is the lowest net worth out of all the cores, so very much struggling actually on the Mars.
Nice presence of mind from Vincenzo as well. He sees the people reacted to the fact that he was coming up onto this high ground at night. You shouldn't normally have that vision, so immediately drops down the sentry in an uncommon position, catches out that observer ward. He's playing real well.
Gotta give props to Dire supports. They're kind of doing the same as well. We've spoken a lot about Vincenzo and well-deserved of how much we've spoken about him, but you know, Dire with the stacks, you know, Mirana, the Pugna also rotating to mid. TMV is going to be set up with 2 points in the Netherworld, so this siege is not going to be easy from Bob. I mean, see how much damage he can do when he tries to activate that Spirit Siphon.
125 damage every single time he tries to do it. Pretty annoying, considering its purpose is healing you. Doesn't have... Oh, sorry, has just the 1 charge left now.
Even Tino's thinking about stepping in. Arena's up in 5. Now the watch just expired as well. They're going to miss the spear. Great timing with the Dragon Tail. The Lelouch will not be able to evade the area. There's not even that soon he feels the importance, and Nevermind as well. They're going to try and chase down Bob. They don't have a way to close the distance. Maybe Tino's an easy kill at Xavier's with the body blocks proving to be an issue. But Tino's able to slip on past Marana, maybe turning to Bob instead, but Nevermind just trying the Burrow Strike, only level 2, and now Paulus, he's going to read the importance of this fight as well, but stepping over to the river, straight into the Sandstorm, recognizing he cannot brawl the Sand King.
Full rotations towards the mid lane. That's what we want to see out of Southeast Asian Dota. And Palace, he is probably the one person that I would be most concerned about joining this fight. I mean, he is already hitting like a truck. He's got the Dragon Lance finished up for himself, going into the Desolator. And, yeah, I mean, if the Sand King isn't there, you win that team fight as Execration. You probably use the TA to continue that push and secure the tier 1 tower for himself. So it's actually really important that Nevermind does show up there.
Great ward plays
of him. 11-minute B Link Dagger timing.
Okay. Where's he currently? He's down bottom. Doesn't have a TP, so it's going to be locked into that location. We're actually going to TP Tino down with Arena up, so maybe thinking about baiting Pelos. I was just going to say it was a really nice illusion placement from the Death Prophet from Bob, who was able to see Lelouch starting to move to top. I thought they were going to do something with this information, but just continuing to farm, it looks like, from Execration.
I'm more keen to see what Polaris does, because you've just made two very obvious TP movements on the TA and the Mars. Mars to bot, TA to mid. And you know that they couldn't have got there outside of a TP. You've just picked up Blink Dagger as well on your Sand King. So what are you actually going to be able to do to punish this? Do you go for an immediate smoke? Do you look to try and take mid? They go for a smoke, but it's just with 2 heroes. I don't know how much this is actually going to accomplish.
Dire are scanning.
Oh,
They're spending a lot of time just doing not much.
Yeah, Xavier's actually
right-click a random creep.
Well, they're lucky there's no vision, but
it's not going to matter. Like, even now, this movement to mid, right? Like, what is it actually accomplishing? Who are you connecting to?
Yeah, that's the important thing. Like, you want to kill into a tower. Even going to go further, but never mind. It's daytime. He's going to charge up. He's
stealing the stacks.
Oh, what is going? Don't let him TP. No.
Oh my god.
Oh
man, dude. Alright, mid lane. Tino still without the blink. Tino is very poor. They need to somehow give this Mars a game. I mean, if you're gonna try and scale, which is difficult for them to do.
Well, I mean, they know they don't have Epicenter now, so they're like, all right, nothing to worry about. He might have Blink Dagger, but that's really not our concern.
Let's go.
Look, Nevermind was making the best out of a bad situation. You know, like there was no one to connect to, and then he's like, all right, let's take something.
So, what do you feel like the dynamic of this game is going to be? Because we have a Medusa, like the king of late game, but we got a queen of late game. Apologies, I'm so sorry, Medusa. How do Execration look to play this? Are they going to be happy late game with kind of their scaling, their team fight? Can they combat the Medusa? Is there a timing they're looking for? Who's kind of happy with the status quo that we have at the moment?
Honestly, it's going to sound like some Polaris better copium, but I'm going to say Polaris just because, you know, you have the Medusa for 1. 2, Sand King, very, very strong in the late game. It's honestly not that much weaker than it used to be late game. It's really just the early game that was impacted. And you've got a DK. And I mean, how many times have we seen a DK just transition into being this beast late?
Oh, what the? What? What was the damage? I mean,
he didn't have Mana Shield on.
Yeah, I was looking at his whole bar. I'm like, hey, does he have Mana Shield on? What's going on? This is another repeat, at least not later on in the game, but
yeah,
so much damage with that maxed out breathe fire. I mean, it's only one point in Arcane Supremacy, but in the river, who else they found? Lelouch gonna try and TPR. They won't have a way to cancel that.
Did you get many messages about that that clip?
No, did you?
Yeah, a few.
Some good ones, some bad ones.
Well, I mean, I just did the easy thing. I just dropped the F-bomb and, you know, easy game.
Easy game. I mean, that's all you need. Oh, man, I wish there was I wish we could let loose the Aussie side
We need like a summit style cast. I know this is beyond the summit, but like we need the summit style cast where just anything goes. I guess we couldn't do that actually because like we would be casting in America and some of our slang just doesn't fly in America.
And one word in particular they do not like: smoke on smoke. Bob's on the high ground. Bob is priority number one if you can blow him up before the Exo, but it's going to charge that one up with Tino's follow-up. Rana's comp, but you need an objective. You need more kills out of this. Well, Roche is
play
that
around this high ground.
objective.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I love the fact that TMV puts so much emphasis on preventing that observer wood from going down on the high ground. They know it's there, but at least they've still got that little bit of information.
It's going to fall too fast before they can get in the neighborhood. They still have Arena to take the fight. Exo soon to expire. They've got the ward on the high ground. Great placement from Vincenzo. So Tino flies over to the low ground. They get the connection onto Lelouch, but the damage is lacking. And for Die, they've got the damage. Epi in the middle, but again, Vincenzo offering the sustain. But Natsumi's looking to enter the fight. Stonegaze is out. He's trying to stand his ground, but his peer pins him up to the tree. Nevermind's back. A double Burrow strike, getting rid of the supports. But Polaris, they still need to respect Palos. The damage is starting to ramp up. A Decrypt buying some time. Tino pushes him back, but the Templar Assassin getting controlled for the moment. And it looks like T is just going to leave. They don't want to continue with the fight. It's Polaris. What a call. Nevermind buys back, gets the double burrow, and they could keep alive Medusa.
Man, Pugner is by far the MVP of that team fight, though. He does nearly 3,000 damage. He dropped the nether ward at the perfect time in the perfect
Palos
spot.
is going for Lelouch. They got Shanks nearby to try and drag him away. Once again, the disarm and the decrypt delaying it. And Lelouch took it out. And TV, okay, he'll be killed off. So your MVP finally has been killed. This is B if they can get Nevermind. It should be fine. He's got Blink Bar. Okay.
Hopefully he knows that you can use Decrep within the life drain. I guess it's only level 1, so the cast range is kind of small. But he did break his life drain once to move so he could Decrep the Medusa.
Xavius, one more leap charge. Connection in the burst. Lelouch, though, wants to jump. They've got Nevermind with a fob. This should be ages taken care of over their Palace. Pops the one, refractions back up, but it will not matter. The Silent Storm instantly ripping that apart. Vincenzo's going to be in the neighborhood. The Abaddon should be able to offer the protection required, so they will not get anything more out of that, but you are well and truly happy with getting the Ages out of the hands of Palace.
The MVP not able to get the follow-up, unfortunately.
Hate to see it. So, a big timing that you aren't able to play with now on Execration, because again, late game's a big concern. So, Aegis, they're under the ward. Never mind.
He's gone.
He's going to jump the Rubik. Vincenzo stunned for the moment. Doesn't get the sustain enough to be able to keep them alive. But Tino! Oh, what an arena! As Bob charges into the middle, but the Stone Gaze is going to delay this. Natsumi protected for the moment. Is going to back off towards the T2 tower, but they haven't got anything more. It was just the MVP killed off, and now he's brought back to try and help out for the second round. But it will not be required as a further fight doesn't break out. It's just closing in the initial one. As Lelouch will end it with a killing spree, and it's only the Pugner going down.
Not needing to buy back in the end, but, I mean, may as well. Better be safe than sorry, essentially. TMV even lucking out with being able to, if he wanted to, continue holding on to that Dragon Scale just to assist with his own survivability, but he's already got the chip vest for that.
Tower is under attack.
I don't really like the fact that he's gone 2 points in Nether Blast, though. I really want to see him just emphasize on being this heal bot, because you've got damage on the rest of your team. That is not your role. If you're in the middle of a team fight, you're getting burst down by a Mars, by a DP, by a TA. There's plenty of ways to be able to take towers and the like on your teammates.
Looks like BKBs is going to be the next real direction from either team.
Speaking of the damage increase potential, Mirana getting close to finishing up a Solar Crest for herself. So that's going to be very nice to boost, honestly, either the DK or the Medusa. DK becomes just that irresistible tower sieger if you're ending up popping it onto him while Deuce is still farming.
I'd be eyeing up Xavius if Shanks is able to close the distance, but I have that Aethelins just yet. Lelouch might be eyeing up Vincenzo. The borrowed time instantly getting rid of the Dragon Tail, and they'll be okay. Does Radiant really want to force this? You got BKB on Palos, but I think this game gets very...
Yeah, next turn.
Lelouch charging to the river. They're going to spring the trap. Palos waiting under the cover of the meld. The rest of Polaris entering the neighborhood. They're going to double back in. Tino considering the wraparound, but he's a bit too far away to connect.
They would consider smoking for this. Actually, the DK form is way too low. It's only got a quarter of the duration. Just going to use the Moonlight Shadow for that purpose. Do they have any kind of detection up? They don't outside of that cliff ward, but Natsumi going to reveal the fact that he is under the cover of the Mirana ulti by clearing out that creep wave.
I really feel like this game gets pretty difficult for Execration once Skadi and BKBs are picked up. You're going... I mean, Skadi's about to be completed for Medusa. Oh, yeah, needs one more component. Has enough gold for the ultimate orb. DK's got 2k gold in the bank, almost BKB. Yeah, I'm quite concerned. I feel like the damage is really going to tail off. And I feel like just your survivability as well. Skadi just really strong against... range carries. Used to be much better, still pretty decent. Of course, there's Palace. It's going to slow down the sustain on the DP and Abaddon. I feel like there is a window and it's really closing. And to be honest, I feel like a lot of the door kind of half closed when they lost that Aegis.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I agree with you, and I honestly want all of the cores to have... They'll at least pop the borrowed time, maybe on Vincenzo, maybe not. I want them to get
Dire's structures are fortified.
BKBs on all of their cores, right? I can understand Sand King wanting to go for the Aeon Disc. You know me, I'm an Aeon Disc enjoyer. But BKBs this game just feels so good considering who you're up against. Like, a Mirana never wants to be on the front line. Pugna never wants to be on a front line. And if you're diving a DP and you're all using your BKBs in unison, DP will die. Like, you're a position 2 DP, but if you can't Spirit Siphon anything, you're as good as a support. You're like,
Lelouch, no one nearby. Absolutely no one in the neighborhood to be able to protect the Dragonite. He's so tanky, but will not matter as Bob tips him over. Wasn't really too impactful there. In fact, he was on the other side of the map, but we saw the tips earlier. Lelouch was giving Bob a bit of a good old tip for good measure.
Tino even just throwing up the bulwark to deflect a lot of those. Oh, Tino.
Okay, Epi's out. Never mind.
Decrep.
Oh, that's a lot of damage. What's going on?
He's maxed out the Decrep now. Hasn't even got the Nether Ward maxed out. Prioritizing the Decrep over it just for the increased cast range, feeling like, well, someone always seems to be the main target of a lot of this aggression, whether it be Natsumi or whether it be Lelouch. So he just wants to make sure that he's got that cast range to be able to save whoever gets gone on.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be an early nullifier consideration for Palos. Probably not next item, maybe the item after, if he's going to be considering it.
Yeah, after a blink.
So we see how much of an issue that Decrep is really going to be, especially if he's maxed it out and he's going 4 staff next as well. So that's going to help kind of kite that next item. I feel like this game is all going to pivot on Execration on. If Polaris can get it, then I feel like they're in prime position to be able to just stall this game out and really get the Medusa online. But if Radiant can get it, then maybe Execration will look to end the game at a decent time.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I like the fact that these supports are just making themselves hard to kill. At least they have the plan to do that, right? Top side, are they looking to make a bit of a movement here? Natsumi has to be careful.
Kino's gonna jump early. There's no real follow-up as Nevermind follows him inside the arena. They want to target down the Sand King instead. Will give Medusa an opportunity to pop the Stone Gaze, and TMV once again life draining Natsumi to a respectable health pool where she can stand her ground and man fight. But Bob, he wants another story. Charging the middle. They stole the burrow. Oh, Shakes. That is beautiful. We were mentioning how disastrous it really could be if Shanks was able to steal this ability, and a big one to be able to cancel the TP. And there we go. In the end, a 2-for-1 and the second death on the Medusa.
Lelouch, you don't want to get caught solo again, especially when you know that they've got that Burrow Strike.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Look to at least, I mean, you've got a bunch of heroes up here on the top side, maybe just wanting to get this tier 1 tower for free. In the meantime, look at what Palace is capable of doing with that Desolator. Just rips through the tier 2. It's a big item though. BKB on the Lush, getting close to his level 18.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I believe just the recipe component away from the Aeon disc on the Sand King. I really hope he finishes it. I mean,
Dire's middle tower
has queued up a Heaven's Halberd for himself, but I feel like if you've committed 2 items into it, you got to finish it off. You're so close.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
What do you feel like was kind of the big reason of how that fight went wrong for Polaris?
I mean, Medusa is a Medusa, right? She's tanky as hell. But she was just on her own for a good, like, 7 seconds. And that was just enough, right? You might be able to get a great life drain off. You might be able to drop down the Nether Ward on TMV. But you're still going to die if you give them that much of a window to be able to initiate.
Gonna push closer to TMV. So you feel like just the big reason is Polaris weren't grouped up? Like, that's
Out of
really
position.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Be
going to
careful
charge
with
in the
their
middle. They've got the
positioning.
ward on the back line. They'll control the Medusa for the moment. It's a really early use of the BKBs, and now you've got to think twice if you want to continue the fight, because never mind charging up the X, so they're going to jump into the middle. But it looks like
Arrow.
the TA is in trouble. Arrow's going to find the connection, but the shield's still on cooldown. Palace is actually going to stand his ground and look to turn with the help of Bob charging in. 4 have been killed off out of nowhere, and now Natsumi. He's going to be cautious. Speeds back up. Tino. There we go. There's the stun. TMV is going to look to buy back. They need to deal with the Pugner if they're going to ever have a thought of killing off Natsumi. Because look at all the mana back. Oh my, Natsumi. That's filthy.
Oh, I think Abaddon accidentally force-staffed the Mars back into the base. He was popping the bulwark up so the rest of the team could run away. And then he was like, you know what? You're already doing one suicidal thing to save us. Just get on into that base. But yeah, no follow-up, unfortunately, went for the TA there. Abaddon was in place. He actually used the Aphotic Shield just prior to the arrow hitting onto him. So it was a full duration arrow, but there was just no damage afterwards. So TA still able to get off all of her key abilities, rejoin the team fight, and they end up getting a solid trade there. Still a buyback expended, with TMV having to use that one to get back into this, and they smoke underneath a ward. Immediately they're pinging it out after the fact, and, well, that's unfortunate.
I fear nothing that moves in the
Bob's really starting to get to the stage where this Death Prophet's scary. We mentioned the level 3 timing in his ultimate last game. Level 20 is going to be huge as well for his survivability. His items are ramping up.
I know it's important to give Natsumi a little bit of gold. Like, he's building up his items. You got to give Xavius a tiny bit of farm. You got to get him that Vlad's offering. He's got so much net worth just sitting in his backpack right now, and he's only 150 gold away from just being so survivable.
It's also going to enable your Medusa. It's just the best of both worlds. An item for Xavius so he doesn't look dirt poor, and then you also help out Natsumi a little bit. Like, he's already given you the Solar Crest. Come on. Maybe it's just like, alright, Philosopher's Stone, that'll do the trick. Man, these traps. It sees everyone in Polaris starting to pivot to top, so there's a lot of information that Execration are working with.
Even now, I'm all about relative net worth, right? Like, Pugner just needs 100 gold, and suddenly he has a 4-staff and is able to survive in so many more engagements, right? You got to give him the ability to farm that.
Scary. Scary, Danog. Palace he's got the DD. But a 3rd duration left. They're going to drop the ward on the higher gun. Polaris, it looks like they're aware of it. Tino's going to jump. Palace instantly towards the Dragonite as well. They're going to try and burst him down before the BKB. Lelouch gets it off at the last second. Now with the life drain, and never mind. Flies over the walls, but the damage is not enough. BKB's protecting Execration. Now they want to take the fight. They're happy with a longer drawn-out fight thanks to the Exo, but Palace is going to respect the T2 tower. A 4-staff 3 position protected for the Mel for the moment. It's going to turn towards Lelouch instead, but they'll bring him down. No Templar Assassin. There's a big issue for Execration's damages. Never mind. He's back in. Another Burrow Strike onto 2, and Execration haven't found anyone, and they've got to get out. I don't think they can stick around. They're trying to maybe see if they can snipe one of these low heroes, but oh, it just went ever so bad.
Yeah, it was a great group defensive rotation, though. They've got the vision down. They went all the way back to their tier 1 tower. It was double Decrepify used there as well by TMV, as well as keeping Lelouch safe under the initial burst. Telling you, man, the MVP, he's coming in clutch.
Let's go TMV. Davius as well. Trying to scout out. See if anyone's considering coming to the neighborhood. There we go. Second Roche. It's going to be the Ag shot as well. Given...
I don't know who you give this to. I mean, do you give it to... It might have to be Medusa.
Yeah,
It's a pretty bad Medusa shard game, but I feel like you just do.
Ew. Where is it? I lost who has it. But still, never mind.
It was given to, yeah, the Sand King who already has it. Yeah.
It's... You're right. It's definitely not the greatest. I think... It's
but Mirana's is trash, and Pugnas is trash.
Yes. And honestly, it's going to be pretty decent versus Rubik on a defense or anything. Well, Telekinesis, Fade Bolt, the more important one, I guess you just use it on someone else and hope it bounces. The Burrow Strike, if Shanks steals it, which he has currently stolen it, so you're going to have to be pretty heads up on Shanks and kind of how the stolen abilities and how he uses it against Medusa. Never mind, his Aeon Disc is going to get popped. Himself out of harm's way.
One team fight completely changed the complexion of this game, though, right? Now you've got Boots of Travel on Nevermind. Now you've got Wraith Pact on Mirana. Now you've got Silver Edge on the Medusa. Like, you're just so much more capable of taking a lot of these team fights happily. You've even got a Heaven's Halberd on the DK. All he needs to do is walk over to the secret shop and claim it.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Execration had the net worth lead for quite some time. Still in their favor, but maybe after this fight... Could be all Polaris as Vincenzo's in the front line. They're going to see TMV.
That is ballsy.
Lelouch
You're
gonna
away
follow
from the team.
If they can force an early borrow time, it's really going to limit how aggressive Vincenzo can position. Force off to get him out. Spear's going to cut the fight in half as well. Lelouch is targeting down TA. They got that Wraith Pack as well, freshly completed. I believe Radiant... Tino? No, it's going to be out.
That was a ballsy play by TMV, though. He had no idea if they had any cliff vision, but still just walks on forward, drops the Observer Ward, nearly gets caught out himself. Those are the sorts of plays that look kind of crazy, but they can be game-winning.
Lelouch is going to start. Vincenzo's nearby. Nevermind's ready to rock and roll. Epicenter getting casted. Shanks is back in. It's a lot of damage for the moment. They're going to be cautious. They group up.
Nice
Tino's going
silence.
to find the arena, but importantly on the backline, look at Bob. Targeting towards the supports. But it's an Exo BKB completely wasted. Now the Death Prophet's going to be vulnerable for the fight. Maybe Natsumi as well. The mana completely getting drained. They need a little bit more damage to take away the first life, and they will do so without really heavily committing. So that's a big victory for Execration. Do they go for the spear pushback? Tino's off the mark, and it'll cost him his life, and maybe more as well. Towards the backline they go. Shanks, he stole the Burrow Strike again. Doubles up inside the middle, but it will not matter as Natsumi, Stone Gaze out, turning towards Palos. They will not be able to cancel the TP, but they're turning towards the Death Prophet on the high ground instead. A forced to reposition, but the Skadi slows, and not enough as Bob will evade that attempt. But the damage has been dealt.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Damage has been dealt. They're going in deep. They lose the Aegis, but that's exactly what you want Medusa to have second Aegis for. It just links up so well with all of her timings. Means that you just have to expend an incredible amount, like you mentioned. They used the BKB initially, but for what? It didn't really feel like it translated to anything. And I mean, it could have been amazing if they were able to land that spear back inside the base. It just unfortunately didn't end up occurring.
This freaking Pugna, man.
Radiant
Oh, what a hero.
The MVP. What did I tell you?
Oh, no, I've been saying it a couple times. TV's popping off. Again, the new addition to Polaris. My guy is looking very, very good. Blink Dagger is going to be the next item of choice. Kind of just the savings.
Damage.
Double damage. What? Okay, so... Alright, well, they're gonna jump, Tino. He's got Vincenzo nearby, runs back into the spear, but the defensive telekinesis as Nevermind pounces with the opportunity for a double bow strike. Will clip Vincenzo as well with an early ultimate pop. It will only delay the inevitable. They might have caught out Rubik. Shanks be able to TP up.
Even just small things there, like Xavier's making sure to drag the creep wave down further towards the base so the creeps don't spend their time fighting inside the river. It just means that you can connect so much faster into this high ground push. They'll have the glyph to be able to deal with it, but they've got their own glyph.
They've got this ward inside the base as well, so Bob's going to be really cautious of his positioning.
Nevermind's off to the right-hand side, though. He's got creeps following him. Wanting to cut the bottom lane means that his position's revealed, but you're still going to get this lane of racks.
They're giving up.
It's going to just be one, though.
Oh, nicely done. Keep the ranged. Oh, so for me, I feel like Pugna Sand King got to go. I don't know how much impact Mirana's going to have if, like, maybe chuck out an arrow. Probably, like, if DK jumps into arrow, that's definitely the worst thing. But I think Sand King's doing way too much with his counter initiation, and Pugna just with the sustain and damage mitigation with the Nether Ward. You got to deal with those two first.
New treasures.
What's going on?
What does Dusa have? BKB coming out to it. I mean, you've just got an MKB on this TA, but there's no BKBs right now. Just the Halberd, I believe, is the only like real evasion-y thing that you're having to come up against. But maybe just wanting the pure damage output.
Dire are scanning.
Bottom they go. Polaris, they're all grouped up for the moment.
Hug that
Vincenzo really far away. He's got to activate Borrow
Silver
Time.
Edge.
Oh, he didn't activate it. Execration, do you stick around for the fight? You got to get to the back line. They're going to try and target down the Dragon Knight instead with the spear. Pushing closer towards Bob, but the damage is not enough. Now, Nevermind, that's a really deep dive. The arena is blocking the reinforcements. They haven't even killed the Sand King just in Little Palace. It's able to find that last right click, so we trade for the offlaners.
Even just that Nether Ward on the high ground, giving them that little bit of extra valuable information. TMV, make sure that Lelouch is completely healthy again for them to continue this push forward. Poor guy's just running low on mana. He's having that much impact in these teamfights that he's bleeding himself dry with all the healing he's able to provide.
For a good cause, TMV. Just keep telling yourself that. Smoke up again. Polaris, T2 towers. Now this will open up bottom. If there's ever an opportunity. Which, one more fight. Could be more than just an opportunity. Could be an opportunity to take this game. Stalking Shanks. Might even run into Vincenzo as well, who did just buy back.
It's really just going to be on the back of Natsumi. Like, if he gets the initiation onto him, Vincenzo doesn't care. Like, from now on, he is manually using borrowed time every single time, even if he's not certain.
I was going to say how close he was truly to death. Same with the Rubik. Once again, man, this ward inside the base. Oh my god, it's doing too much. It hurts. $6,000 deficit for Execration. Jump in. Tino's going to be off the mark with a spear. It's probably...
Oh, man, even picking up a telescope, that's so huge.
Oh.
The TMV's got it in his stash, ready to come out to him now.
He got level as well on Medusa. They got some really good neutral items.
Yeah.
AC as well for the DK. Oh boy.
It's so hard to stop this siege. Like, Polaris' game plan is very simple. Wait for Roche, play around this, and take the base.
They're going to try and jump the Dragon Knight once again, and this time they will kill him off without any of Polaris being able to interfere, but now they're going for the Pugna instead. Alright, that's a pretty valuable target if you can get rid of him. Ooh, they saw the
Roche is just up.
They saw Nether Ward too? Okay, it's pretty big.
That's not the game plan, Lelouch. You need to just be a little bit more passive. You know Roshan's about to respawn. Being away from your team is not the play at this stage of the game. They're pinging out top. They know that they're playing around this general vicinity, but they got higher priorities. Claiming that Aghanim Scepter for Shanks? maybe. Palos, maybe. Honestly, even a Batten maybe wouldn't be worse to be able to claim that Aghanim Scepter for himself.
Shanks
but
might be able to
I
catch
think
some out top. Munching the Mirana instead. So just off the mark with a speed. That was so close. I guess you popped the Aeon, but it's still very close to getting the kill. All right, where'd that Scepter go?
Give it to DP. Huh.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Not the biggest fan.
Okay.
Time to run them down.
Alright, you got Ages on Palos, Cheese on the Death Prophet as well. Net worth leads back in
Level up.
Radiant's favor.
Level is the important one for mine. I mean, now you win a team fight. You don't know it, but they don't have buyback. And you can pretty comfortably take these towers. Palos. Just hiding for now. Seeing if anyone decides to roam towards him. Doesn't look like the case. But yeah, like that's something very small that's potentially game losing, right? Just Lelouch's decision to push one more creep wave when he really didn't need to. The important thing was Roche, and he should know that, and just playing near the rest of his team is like by far priority number one. If he wants to push that wave, have someone next to you so that you're not just 100 to 0.
Alright, we've got a couple level 25s. TA went for the refraction instances. Medusa, of course, went for the split shell modifiers. Really nothing crazy. Next up is going to be the Death Prophet. Over 24 and 3/4. DK's 24 and a half. So yeah, Bob's going to have his shortly. Might not have it by the time the next fight breaks out, though.
Let's see. Might choose to be patient. Might let him go into mid. What am I saying? Of course, they're going to give it over to Palace.
What is he considering? Swift Blink next. Okay. What about the Medusa? Medusa is going MKB. So we're going to have double MKBs. One on both the position ones. I'm still quite surprised. It's Execration with the net worth. I suppose the Ag's Blessing is really inflating how this game is looking at the moment. But what's the buyback status? We got Dusa. So only one on Radiant, which is Rubik. On Dire, we got Dusa, Sand King, and the Pugna.
As well as an Aeon Disc on Mirana. So even if you do find someone to go in onto the back lines, it's not the easiest time. Pugna, 4-staff, Aether Lens, going into the Aeon Disc next for himself. I like this. I guess it's good. I mean, I'm just kind of thinking, would he be better served going into something like a Drums, Boots of Bearing, just to be able to assist the rest of the team in their actual damage output? I mean, even just for movement, we've seen how many fights now at this stage have been decided off of like a couple of seconds just being able to retreat underneath a tower or get out of a choke point, you know?
Yeah, both sides have to be very cautious if they're grouped up on a choke point. You got Sand King jump, soon to be DK25 with the AoE Dragon Tail, Medusa split shot for Radiant. It's the spill from the TA, the arena. I mean, DP in close proximity as well can do a lot of damage, so something they've got to be concerned about. They do have issues with their lanes, though. This Medusa illusion, they're split up. I mean, this is an ideal fight for Polaris. They're going to jump to Mars. Nice 4-staff away to reposition Tino. So he's going to drop a defensive arena. Palos is nearby as well to try and deal the damage onto Lelouch, but they've got to be cautious. The rest of Radiant showing up to the neighborhood as Bob jumps straight onto Natsumi. The Stone Gaze BKB protecting Natsumi. They did steal the Stone Gaze. They've got to be cautious now, but this longer drawn-out fight, a double leap to reposition, but Palos is back into the middle, wanting to do the damage, trying to man-fight the Medusa. There we go, the stolen Stone Gaze is Shanks, charging straight into the river. The arrow's going to connect on Palos, instantly taken away. Palos is not winning this man-fight. Furge Asia's down. How can they set up for round 2? I don't know if they're going to be able to. Wait, Palos, he jumps in. They get the help, but protected for the BKB. He's going to make it out, but the rest of Radiant, they'll cancel one of the TPs in Vincenzo. Bob should make it out. Oh, that was a messy fight, though.
Messy for sure, but Polaris coming out on top. It was really on the back of Nevermind. He made another great initiation onto the backlines, really splitting up the fight and removing TA's support network, basically. They were all just standing to the left in good positioning, right? There's no way Polaris was having any kind of vision at that stage of the game, so to make that jump, it's a ballsy move, but it paid off for him.
Abaddon buyback cooldown just came back up. They're gonna jump Bob.
Radiant's bottom
It won't have an opportunity to pop the cheese, although the telekinesis used defensively.
Radiant's middle barracks has
Ooh,
fallen.
clean with fire, Mr. Bobby.
The back off in time.
Nevermind wants to jump. he's edging
course he does.
forward. Everyone else
He's
is
built
backing
different.
off. Yeah, he's built different, isn't he?
Well, we were talking about those level 25s. DK's hit it. The Sand King approaching it. Pugner approaching level 20. That extra second on the Decrep's going to be really nice. Marana got the lower cooldown on the Moonlight Shadows. So I suppose that is one aspect of the MKB that I forgot about for the TA. You know, there's going to be periods where every single person has some kind of evasion.
I think you mentioned the Sand King 25, but just
Yep.
the Sandstorm Storm Blind is that's huge versus a TA.
To my
Very difficult for you to deal with. That's another thing maybe he was looking into with his MKB. They're
Yep.
they're going up.
Radiant's bottom
Why not?
barracks are under attack.
You gonna glyph?
You got all these buffing items. You got Solar Crest. You got Wraith Pack.
Radiant's bottom barracks
I don't want to force
got-
up.
fallen.
Probably a little bit too aggressively placed
Radiant's
Netherwood, but
structures
it'll
are
do.
fortified.
No, there we go. Glyph. Not really going to give the too much die. They're already reset outside the base. Now Natsumi's going to find an opportunity to go in, but the barracks were destroyed. So they didn't get the speed connection to the backline. Medusa still Stone Gaze, trying to stand his ground in man fight. Mana has been evaporated. They saw the Stone Gaze once again. Luke's going to try and BKB TP out. Can he get in front? Shanks, he does.
Nice,
Cancels
Shanks.
the TP from the Dragon Knight. So get at least one kill onto Lelouch. He does have a buyback. It's going to cost you your full set of bottom barracks.
Shanks is playing pretty damn well. I mean, in a lot of these engagements, even just stealing the Breathe Fire is damn impactful against anyone, really. I mean, it's just pure damage reduction.
He's balling out. Balling out. Oh, he's got Refresher. I was going to say, I'm hearing Exo, like Spirit's charging back, but Exo's back up. Okay, so we went Refresher on Bob. There.
Just Yags.
Alright. Never mind, still not level 25. How close is he? There we go, he's got it.
Dire structures are fortified.
Makes it a lot more challenging. A little surprised he didn't go a bit further forward, but we've seen the impact of Mars being able to get that Blink Spear back.
We bathe in
Miss Dire's middle barracks.
See how
Do you
quickly
jump?
they're able to.
They're trying to blow up
Clean them
Bob. They
up.
might be able to
Oof.
do so. Once again, the telekinesis force stuff out. Bob's okay. The damage from Natsumi is really starting to ramp up. Tina's going to turn with the arena drop, but they're on the low ground. Never mind inside the middle. It's a decent
He was
chunk of
Aeon Disc,
damage.
though.
But it looks like TA's still in trouble. She popped the BKB after the Hellbit, so it's a wasted magic immunity. And now Polaris are just charging to the TA. They know she's vulnerable. There's no escape for the carry on Execration, as they might be able to get more as well. Never mind. He got a whiff of vision onto Bob, but the Sheev is slow.
Radiant's top tower
We'll
is
get
under
Bob out of
attack.
harm's way. Don't get greedy, Bob.
Don't do it, Bob.
get
Don't do it, Bob.
greedy.
Can't win a war without money.
Ooh.
Roche is up in 3. I nearly thought that fight was going to be so close yet so far for Polaris, because when Nevermind went in, I think there was just some damage going out randomly that ended up popping his Aeon Disc, so the Epicenter actually didn't do anything for the longest time.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
You're gonna have to force out these buybacks on the defense unless you want to go up against
Radiant's
Megas.
top tower is under attack.
Here we go. Buyback on Palace.
They could just back up. There's no need to go further. Go take Roche. Get your vision advantage.
Put yourselves in a position to be 2-0 up in this best of 5.
Talking about Pugner going for those Boots of Bearing, but you've got them on Marana now, so
only the wary.
very
might
valuable
find
tool
us.
to have. Constantly just putting yourself up there in harm's way. No way to break the Tranquil Boots component anymore either.
They gotta go. Roche has fallen too fast though for them to get in the pit. Look at Nevermind standing guard.
Roshan has fallen to the death.
Oh, he's
Someone needs that Ags. I think they might have given it to Nevermind. What did Lelouch? I think Lelouch might have just sold his old Ags. He's eaten the blessing.
Okay. Looks like that is the case. Chunk of gold towards the overwhelming blink. You're gonna have to go back. Is anyone without TP? Yeah, Vincenzo doesn't have TP, so he's got to run back. Not too far, but you won't have everyone set up.
Dire's middle barracks are
They're
under
all
attack.
TP. Okay.
All right. I suppose they're not in any rush.
Yep. Any buybacks coming up shortly? No one on cooldown. It's about to come up. Execration gonna get real goddamn crafty. You can always kind of do this nice play where you just speed drag back whoever's sieging. I don't know if you're gonna kill Medusa, so if it is Lelouch, like speed drag back, arena on the stairs so the supports can't enter. But you'd love to have a double arena and you're not going to for this fight, so it just feels like you're really off the back of somehow Polaris diving, but for a mature team, you just make the call and get the objectives.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've been praising TMV all game. I'm not sure how crazy I am about his choice to finish up the Octarine core. I feel like at this stage, buyback is just so much more valuable.
Vanish!
He's been MVP. No one makes one choice. No. TMV.
Hopefully they don't get too antsy here moving forward. They're going to try and find a pick off on this top lane. I think they saw the TP back, so Shanks has the information.
Can they
to be able
fight?
to back off.
Yeah, Bob's gonna try. They know the Sand King's not here. Natsumi's doing so much damage. Are they gonna die on this high ground? Is this a spot you wanna... They got a ward set up in sentries, so they won't have full coverage of the area. They do not have Palos.
I feel like they don't feel confident unless, like, unless they knew Sand King was top.
Lelouch?
Like,
They see Lelouch! They see Lelouch! Tino's gonna jump. It's a lot of damage already towards the Dragon Knight. Pops a BKB. Somebody get out of the arena. So that is arena now wasted. But Bob used Exo as well.
Dire's courier.
They can back up to their own high ground ward. They keep the refresher shot over to Natsumi. So it's got another round of the Stone Gaze that they're going to look to implement now with this team fight by the Secret Shop. 4-star telekinesis, everything used to get Bob back to safety. Tino's doing an exceptional job with this bulwark, mitigating the damage from Natsumi, where they're turning to deal with the Medusa, but a decrypt protecting Natsumi for long enough. Round 2. How do you set yourselves up? Can they go in? Nevermind's going to jump with the epicenter, targeting Palace, but he's still got a BKB. Over towards the Medusa, they go, but Palace is without refraction charges. Down goes the Templar Assassin. No buyback available. Mars will join her in the afterlife. As that should be all she wrote. Palace, without a buyback, makes this hold ridiculously hard. 5 on 3, and I think Polaris have got this game too.
Radiant's top tower
Yeah.
is under attack.
Shanks was doing his best to try and cut that mid wave, but it's not even going to matter. Top lane already pushing in quite heavily. Lelouch going for that super deep dive in onto the back lines. Nice use of the defensive capabilities of the supports, but all it does is move them further away from those racks. That's mega creeps, and that should be game.
The Dire now have mega creeps.
Wow.
Radiant's middle tower
Natsumi
is
just
under
bought
attack.
about 30 mangoes and chumped them all.
Yum, 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 yum.
Radiant's middle tower.
Oh boy,
has fallen.
T4's gone down.
Radiant's
Execration.
middle tower is under
What's the
attack.
call?
Radiant's middle tower has
Throne's
fallen.
exposed. You won't have Exo. And they know there's no defense. They're going to call it quits. Polaris 2-0 up in our best of 5. They are looking really strong.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I called it out during the draft. I just felt like they didn't have an answer for this Medusa. There were a couple of times in the early game where Natsume was just caught a little bit out of position, and they were able to punish it. But for me, it was really, again, the newer additions to Polaris in TMV and Nevermind that were able to carry them through those scary mid-game stages. You know, TMV making them survive through a lot of ganks that they really shouldn't have, and Nevermind just those clutch super deep dives. Some might be able to say, well, he's playing away from the rest of the team, but he himself is like stunning and epicentering 4 people and just making it so that the rest of the team could focus 1. And I think that was the real key difference there. Plus, earlier Wraith Pact. Damage reduction is still underrated somehow. And you're allowing Polaris to get through the Dragon Knight with Breathe Fire. He went the level 10 talent as well. And then you've got the Netherward as well for a different kind of magic reduction, for damage reduction, for magic abilities. So, I don't know. I think you need to either claim some of these heroes for yourself or you need to just ban them out entirely. Visage, it's banned. Like 100%, Nevermind will pick it. But you got to pick up the Pugna for yourself if you have the opportunity to.
Yeah, it's really difficult because, again, what do you let through? What do you pick up yourself? Is it a question of do we want first pick just so we can snag something and force them to ban something that they might not have if we had second pick? It's a really difficult position to be in. It's nice to see, though, in this game too, in particular, we see both sides go back for comfort. Like, we get the Natsumi Medusa. Again, it's something that Polaris put a lot of emphasis on kind of through the first half of Tour 2, and Execration with their Templar Assassin as well. Was Palace playing it? We mentioned that both Palace and Bob play a very, very good Templar Assassin, but unfortunately for Execration, their strategy is not able to come out on top. The Medusa will reign supreme as we see in this second game, and now they are 1 game away of sweeping this best of 5. We saw prior in the BTS 9 that Polaris, they lost 0-3 to Boom. So they're looking to do it to another team looking to sweep them in.
Twist the knife. Remind them that you were able to lose that one. Or could we be set up for the best reverse sweep of all time? I've never imagined any other reverse sweeps that could have potentially happened. But it could be. I mean, Execration were in a position to win that game. And it was really that fight around the tier 2 top that just turned things around. Being able to retreat. TMV, Nevermind, really, again, coming to the front. It could happen. I'm not putting it out of the realms of the possibility, even though I predicted Polaris. I think Execration have what it takes, and I think they're warmed up.
Okay, you think after 2 games they are warmed up now? We will find out. Of course, keep in mind, Execration, they knocked Polaris down to the lower bracket in the upper bracket final. So they have proved that they can beat this team, but they need the draft and they need to be warmed up. Danog thinks they're warmed up. We'll see if they can get a draft to enable them, though, to take game 3 and at least trying to hit back. But all our questions will be answered after the break.